All right, hello, and welcome back to the Raw Talk show where we talk and have candid conversations with our guests. They are powerful women that have wonderful stories to share. Today, we are going to talk to Irina, who is going to talk to us about mentorship. She is the perfect person to talk to us about mentorship because, Irina, there you go.
Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction, Falguni. Good evening, ladies, and thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm super excited, humbled, and honored. So thank you so much for that. Where do I start? I feel like there's so many things to be said. So I'm actually originally from Moldova, and I moved to Canada, Montreal, Quebec, 11 years ago in my mid-20s. And to be honest with you, this is when I haven't really questioned of how I felt before that, but I think just how life has thrown me into this, let's say, new country and new lifestyle. I think I've lived like a little bit of a cultural shock at the beginning. So this is when I realized that all kind of insecurities and anxiety kind of started to surface, while as navigating a lot of uncharted waters, and it's been full of challenges. So I've been, let's say, changing a little bit, pivoting my career and changing a little bit trajectory, because I have a linguistical background. So I've studied and I graduated from the Faculty of Foreign Languages. But in Canada, I happened to start my career as an administrative assistant, and I started with an asset manager. And this is where I've been given the opportunity to grow and develop, and later on help them with the compliance and marketing strategies. So this is basically where I could get licensed as a stockbroker, and then eventually apply in 2013 for a job in one of the local banks here in Canada. So yeah, that's a little bit of a brief introduction where I'm coming from. But then, as I said, I don't know, some lack of self-confidence was resurfacing. So I felt I was not enough. I started questioning myself, am I worth it? Am I not? And later on, already, when I was at National Bank of Canada, the organization where I work right now, I felt the need of surrounding myself with a strong support system and finding a mentor, which I thought it would be easier for me to navigate those uncertainties I was living. So yeah.
That's wonderful.
Wonderful to know that. Yeah, and wonderful why you get to talk about mentorship, because who would understand the benefit of having a mentor, but when you're in a foreign country, don't know the same language and have to make major pivots in your career. I think that's all very wonderful reason to have a mentor. So I'm really excited for us to have this conversation.
And what I really like is that you saw the need for something, and rather than, even though, by the way, I can totally relate to the whole worthy lack of thereof thing. I actually just finished a 12-week mastermind. Part of what I worked through was exactly that, the whole self-worth thing. So talking about mentorship is really interesting right now, because I literally just finished this thing Thursday night. But what I found interesting in your story, number one, like the mere fact that you went from one country to another is like that. Anybody who does something like that, I just find completely fascinating. And like, I just think it's incredible, because that's a huge leap in and of itself. You're leaving everything you've ever known for something you don't even, you may know something about, but really it's completely and totally unfamiliar to you. So I give you a lot of credit for that. But back to the mentorship part, you saw some sort of a need, and rather than not pay attention to it or not do anything about it, you chose to do something about it. So you found the mentor for yourself, and then took it and kind of ran with it, if you will, for lack of a better way to put it. And I love that, because you took control in a way. So even though you've had all that self-worth and all that other stuff going on along, you realize that I still need, you recognize something to make that tiny little change that probably catapulted a whole bunch of other changes, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fascinating how, and we'll share like in some moments how things happen. We have a very special story with my mentor, and I'm actually privileged she's here with us today. So thank you so much, Linda. I was looking for one, but I realized because I was lacking the self-confidence, it was really, really hard to come up to somebody and say, hey, would you mentor me? When I was Googling, how do you find a mentor? How do you approach a mentor? And I felt like because I'm not enough, right? And because my self-worth, whatever, my self-esteem was so low, I'm like, but I don't even know, like, are these people going to be wasting their time with me? Because I don't know what to tell them, right? I don't know what my purpose, my goal should be. Like how do I even approach them? So I was having this basically fear, and I've been growing up with some fear of authority, and I've been a lot making myself small. Right. So I was always diminishing myself. So I was unsuccessful in this, let's say, try to like in finding a mentor. So yeah.
So then tell the story of how. So that kind of leads right into the story, no?
Yeah, exactly. So as unsuccessful, and for good reasons, because I didn't know how to do that. And later on, let's say last year, everything happened. And I met a gentleman called Brian Wish on LinkedIn. And I think through liking a post by Simon Sinek, he contacted me. And this is how we, let's say, resonated. And I was very passionate. I am still passionate about the theme of leadership. And he actually founded a community on LinkedIn. And I have met Linda, my mentor, through this community. So we were in a call together. And I remember I had one of these, again, really bad brain freeze moments, in which I just couldn't talk. I just felt emotional. I kind of, got red, got blue, and I'm like, oh my God, what are people gonna think about me? I'm so stupid. And again, I was having this little voice talk to me. I'm not worth it. I'm not enough. I'm not, So anyway, so later on, somebody from the group actually wrote to me, and I asked, because I wanted so much to go out of my comfort zone and finally, be able to build that self-confidence. I asked to have a virtual coffee with one of the community members, and it happened to be Linda Tilson, actually.
Oh, get out of here!
To have a coffee with me, yes, and it happened last year. So I think we're coming to the 1-year anniversary, Linda, of our mentorship / friendship relationship now. It's been
we absolutely are, and the moment when we met, it was like a match. I could see in Irina that she had all of this energy waiting to come out and for something to move forward in her life. And I don't really remember exactly how it came up, but you told your story about how you were searching for a mentor. You had asked a woman in a group to be your mentor, and she didn't really come back to respond in the way that you had wanted. And so one of the things that Irina and I talked about is when somebody becomes a mentor, they have to have that desire and willingness, but they also have to have that capacity or space to be able to do that. And it's really hard when you're trying to figure out, what type of mentor do I want? Do I want someone that's like me? Do I want someone that's different and diverse from me? Do I need to have everything in front of me to have a conversation? And the answer is no. You don't have to know everything that is that you want to learn. You just want to know a couple of things that you admire in another person, and you can have that conversation about whether or not they have that capacity and that desire to be that person to you. And so what Irina didn't know was that I was going to ask her to be my mentee. And so it's been our long-standing conversation. It's kind of been a little funny and humorous, but I asked her if she would accept my rose and become my mentee. And so just like relationships, mentorships are the same way. And so sometimes you can be a mentee and ask a mentor, but there's nothing preventing a mentor from asking someone if they would like to come in and be someone's mentee, which is what I did. I did it in reverse because I knew where she came from. When you are wanting to meet a mentor and you go through an experience where it doesn't work out, you become stuck and not really wanting to move from there. I mean, to have the courage to come out and ask somebody else after an experience that she went through, that's really hard. And so it wasn't really important how we necessarily got together, but we wanted to tell this story because we think that it's probably more common than people let on, that they're looking for a mentor. They don't really know exactly what they want. They just know they want to learn and grow with someone that they can trust, that really is there for their best interest and heart.
Well said, Linda. I think when you move to a new country or even like start over again or whatever the case may be, right? There's so many questions that you have about yourself when you get to a new place and you're trying new things, and you want to do everything by yourself first, right? Because you feel that, okay, I have everything, I should be able to get everything done. But then slowly you realize there might be some turning points where you need like a friendship or guidance, someone to come and tell you, or help you out just as a friend. And it's very important. Some of us, we don't like to acknowledge that until it's too late. And for some of us, it's like, we don't know all the questions, obviously, that what do we need and what are the questions and what exactly are we looking for? I think that's what Irina was saying as well. And I've been in that situation too. And I've been very strict, like I don't want to ask anybody for help, So I totally understand, and I absolutely feel that I resonate with what you're saying, and I've been in that position. So I'm really excited to learn more about your journey.
I have questions though. So I spoke with Brian. Oh God. My daughter's a sophomore in college. It's got to be 2 or 3 years ago now. He was doing, I forgot what he was doing, but he was talking to high school age students and whatever else it was on LinkedIn. And, and I messaged him, and he actually had a conversation. We had a Zoom with him and everything with my daughter and whatnot. So the fact that when you said his name, I don't know if you saw, I was like, whoa, because I know he kind of pivoted and changed what he does and stuff like that, but I didn't know he had a whole community and stuff like that. That's really, really very interesting. And I know we talk about mentorship, but the funny thing is you started out in a community and ended up with, so you're still part of this community, even though Linda is your mentor. You know what I mean? So I find that part of it very interesting also. Because so from that, and I find it very interesting, and I feel like people think a mentor is one person, where it can be, but it is also, you have all these other people. You have Linda, not taking anything away from you, Linda, as I have a similar thing in my health and wellness business, where we have this amazing community, and then you get the one-on-one coaching with the individual person. So that's what I'm thinking of when I say this. There's this amazing community, but now you have Linda, the individual person, but you can I don't know how to say this, you can kind of fall back on other people, which is really not that Linda is not, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to take anything away from you, Linda, but you know what I mean?
Oh, you're not at all.
The whole point is you have the one specific mentor, but then you have all these other mentors that you can also turn to. So Linda, you talk about the individual, and by the way, I love how you asked her. I had never ever thought about that. I love that idea. You just assume when people ask for help, you just give it to them. But I think you really just changed a thought process in my mind of, well, maybe even though they're asking for help, well, would you accept it? It's almost like you're asking for would you actually accept my help? Just because they're asking for it and they want it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to receive it.
Sure, I may or may not have been the right person for Irina, but I wasn't going to know until I extended that. And to your point, Caren, you're right. There's more than just the one-on-one relationship. Irina and I are actually in several communities. I can think of 4 right now. This will make the 5th one here today. And so we go through a lot of different conversations with a lot of different people, and one person connects another person, which connects another person. So really the community aspect in mentorship is huge, because you really can get involved and that's one of the roles of the mentor, is to introduce a person to other people that they should know and would have value in knowing. And so I've taken that to heart, and I've introduced Irina to several different people, and we have a lot of mutual connections, and she in turn also introduced me to some people as well. And so it's been a really good experience on both sides of the equation. And that's the one thing that people don't really think about, is that the mentor has just as rich of experience when they're invested in the mentee as the mentee does with the mentor. It's really a two-way street. The thing about a mentorship is that the mentee drives where we're going to go. I am in the, I guess, driver's seat in the fact that I'm going to like give her some different roads that we could go down. So that, other than that, she's saying what I want, how I want to do it. And to be honest, the amount of growth that Irina has experienced over this last year has been insane. Not only did she become more confident, she switched jobs, so she's in a new role, and she has done something that I want her to share it, because I think it's really powerful about what she's getting ready to do. It's most amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Linda. Thank you, ladies. Actually, yeah, it's just been absolutely life-changing. Like, when I think about it, the way I reaped up the rewards of this relationship, it's been in absolutely special, incredible ways. I'm so forever grateful and blessed. She knows that. You know that, Linda. It's been so healing. It's been self-cognizant. It's been absolutely like advancing from all point of views. It's thanks to you, Linda, that I could advance my career. Linda prepared me for an interview. She believed in me, and I finally got the job that I wanted. It's so true. And many other things happened along the way. But I wanted to say one thing that before we move on with what happened next. Linda, you've inspired me to give back to my community, to give back to people, to be of service, And because I say I had it not late, but well, later on, let's say, because I kind of met you in my mid-30s now. So I really understand the importance of speaking to that female talent and to that female potential early on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very important, because I'm telling myself, oh my God, I wish I met her earlier. I wish I had surrounded myself with a support system earlier, much earlier. Can you imagine what could happen? I'm still very, very, very grateful. So I could embrace this new challenging role I'm in right now in my organization, as well as join the executive committee of the Toastmasters Club within the bank. I'm the vice president of recruitment. As well, lately, I've been joining the executive committee of the Women's Leadership Network at the bank. And I'm extremely honored, humbled, and happy to be part of it and to be serving. And thank you, Linda, for having spoken to that potential within, to have awakened that leader within. And it just gives me, more purpose and embrace this mission that I'm so incredibly, proud of. So yeah.
That's and you wonderful. Should be very proud of. You should be very proud of it. The journey that you've been on, where you're going, the whole giving back. You're just, you're just in the middle of it. You're not even at the end yet. And it doesn't matter that it didn't happen sooner, but you're right. When we can, as mentors, and I'm going to say that as a group collectively, can recognize potential in someone, and we can bring that out of them, whether we're their direct mentor or just somebody just bringing up the conversation. Have you ever thought about doing X? And planting the seed in that person. And if you can, share a way they might go about it. That's it, whether you have a formal mentor or not. That's what we all should be doing when we meet somebody and see something.
You know what, Irina, you said something interesting though. First of all, I agree. I love the fact that I have a 19-year-old daughter, so I love that whole, and she's in a sorority, and which funnily enough, I kind of think is partly mentorship in a way anyway. You know what I mean? She has all these sisters, and she's navigating like all these things, and now she has like little sisters for herself and whatnot. So it's like she's kind of like a mentor to these freshmen and whatnot. But you said something about you wish you had this when you were younger or something like that. And it's funny because a lot of times I see the post people like, what would you tell your younger self, or like stuff like this. And I always think about it like, what would I do? And I was like, you know what? I kind of feel like the journey led us to where we are now, good, bad, and different. So like, I get what you're saying, but I don't know that maybe you would have been okay to receive everything that you're receiving then as you are now. I know for a fact that there's no way half the stuff that I learn now or that people help me with now, I would have received 10 years ago even.
Yeah, you're right, Caren.
So it's funny to me, like I know you say you wish you would have had it, but I also kind of feel like because look what you did with it. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the beauty of mentorship and everything like that, is also taking this step back and having someone say to you, because I think a lot of times we don't see our accomplishments, or we do, but we don't appreciate them like others may. So like you're vice president of recruitment, you're doing all of these things. So when somebody says to you, look, I mean, even now I see the pride in Linda's face just talking about it, and like I'm more prideful, you know what I mean? And I just kind of feel like we need to it's so nice to have someone say to you, number one, catapult you to do these things, but number two, to show you, to make you understand and to make you appreciate, even though you do, I know you do, but to make you further, like really dive it in. But what is making you, is it because of what you learned that you're like, you see the need, and again, you're doing it again, you see the need for the younger kids. So like, how are you working with younger kids, or are you not doing that yet? Or is that just something that's still in the works?
Yeah, no, I'm not working with younger kids. What the opportunities I see is speaking to those young females, let's say at the bank, in my organization, and be able to hold that space for conversation for them. This is exactly what Linda did for me. She opened like slots on her calendar, and she's been giving me the gift of time, the most precious thing. She's given me her time. So this is the way I feel inspired, that I could start opening slots on my calendar and allow for young females to come into the space and be able to, let's say, share their own professional and personal challenges, and then see how we can help them. And there is maybe different needs they might have. Sometimes if you see the potential within them, that there is potential, and there is capabilities, capacity, and willingness to step into leadership, you evoke and you speak to that potential. If not, at least have people, be at their best, in the workplace. And I have a lot of ideas, including like the idea of humanizing the workplace. I'm not a fan of fake it till you make it. And I feel like females are being told a lot, be a little bit that, be less of that, be more of that. And that's so actually sad, And I remember having read a couple of years ago a book called Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office. And now I feel so saddened, because I remember they enumerated 101 mistakes that women make in the workplace. I'm like, oh my God, we're being penalized for being vulnerable, authentic, for being nice, for smiling, for being kind. And this is not okay. So yeah, I want to invite women to find the authentic voice within and come up as themselves, even in the workplace. So,
I have a lot of things to share, because all of this is just fantastic. I've been waiting.
I was going to say, I've been waiting for Falguni.
I was waiting to share, and I'm like, okay, now one more good thing and one more. And it's just been a very wonderful conversation. I'm thoroughly loving it, by the way. But I just want to go back a little bit to actually acknowledge the fact that, Linda, not only were you ready to help somebody, you also recognized the spark in her, which I think is a big thing. Before even she realized it, before Irina realized it, Linda, you saw it, and you extended help to her, you extended and reached out to her, was a great thing. And Irina, for you, kudos on jumping onto that, because many times we miss the boat. Many times we don't realize that, because a lot of apprehensions, a lot of things come into mind, and we kind of hold ourselves back. To your point, I can completely relate to your struggle of not knowing what to talk. So if there is somebody that you really like and admire, you want to stay away from that person, conversely, only because I don't know what to tell this person, and I don't know what that person will think of me and things like that. So great job on actually taking that help up, and actually being that, and I'm just seeing the beautiful results that has brought you. So I'm so happy for that. But so kudos to both of you for recognizing and you for jumping on. So that's fantastic, number one. And then for you to not only stop there, Irina, for you to grow and grow in a way where now you want to give. I think that's the best part of the best way of growing, when you feel the need for you. And Linda, that speaks volumes about the help that you have provided Irina too, that she's now wanting to give forward. And I think that's a moment of pride for you, Linda, as a mentor. And Irina, kudos to you again for wanting to give this forward, and that you are doing it in such a beautiful way. You're speaking so confidently. It's very difficult to say that you once felt not that confident. So great going, you guys, and this is just all is very inspiring. I am absolutely loving the conversation. It took me back to both the memories, and Caren, I like to do that. I went back to when I was a mentor to somebody, and when I was a mentee to somebody. I was so hesitant, Irina. I absolutely admired that person at work, and I was like, if he gets to know me even bit more, he'll not like me anymore, because I am so unprepared. I'm so raw. But I took it as a dare, and once I did it, my career opportunities, not only that opened up. I think the one good quality of a mentor is that they will always give you more than just what you can see. So I was just seeking like a personal, career, some help with my career, some guidance on that. But I became a better person because of this whole interaction. And I became more confident that goal was so achievable for me. The one that I was dreading is so super achievable. And now I'm thinking about beyond that, like more than that. So I'm so glad that that's the similar story that you have. And it's just wonderful. I just, I wanted to take a moment to actually appreciate. And I was bottling all of this thing up while I was hearing you guys talk. And I'm like, 1 second, I need to share this because it is beautiful. So.
Nice.
Yeah, you have to take the leap of faith,
Yes.
I think that's what it is. And
Exactly.
it speaks volumes that your mentor should have the quality to be able to find that in the other person, that what Linda did, right? And now sometimes you need the other person to provide you that confidence that what you're doing is right. You just want to hear it first from somebody else, and we've been through that situations a lot. It's not just like a one-time thing. So yeah, awesome job, Irina. Would you like to share anything from, you say you're from Moldova, right?
Right.
Is there anything, did you have a mentor there?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
No, as I said, we're part of the, Soviet Union, let's say, communist bloc, right? So we're part of the USSR. So we became independent, I think, in 1991 as a republic, but we've been a country that's been invaded constantly, whether by the Turks or the Russians or the Romanians, because we were part of Romania at a certain point in life. So I think that kind of, that's been imprinted in me, and I had always like this hesitance and this lack of self-confidence. And I think this is the way we were raised as well. My parents gave me good values, but at the same time, they put a lot of pressure on how we would be getting marks, at school, and they were asking us, is there anyone else better than you at school? And I mean, like, yeah, anyone else who got better grades than you? And I'm like, yeah, well, it shouldn't be like that. You should be the first one. It kind of developed that competitive spirit, but in an unhealthy way, because sometimes my dad would tell us, you're not capable of this and that, and should I die, you'll not be able, to survive. And I think, I just realized when I moved to Canada, that all of this insecurities resurfaced at that point in time in life, So, yeah, so I guess the way I was raised, didn't help with those predetermined, self-limiting set of beliefs.
I'm actually reading a book now, and oh my god, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I had a, I have to look at the, I can't remember the name of it at the moment. I'm going to look it up, but it talks about that. It really talks about, stuff from our childhood that we don't even realize are traumatic, but like that sort of set the tone and whatnot. So you're talking about like with the grades and everything like that, and but it also sets a tone for like our worth or lack thereof or stuff like that. And I was reading it this morning. I was like, oh my god! I'm like, wow, like you know what I mean? It's not so many. A traumatic thing could be like what just happened to you is your grades are not whatever, And I think having just done this myself, like having. Like you come across like, and I'm sure, and correct me if I'm wrong about this too, but like sometimes you don't come across as you lack of confidence. People may not know that about you if they just see you on the surface, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? And I know for me, after this mastermind and stuff, there were so many things. It's like a switch, but it's like almost like it's a muscle that you have to keep building and building and building because you're so used to doing it one way. So I think having the mentor is and being the mentee and now paying it forward, number one, helps you keep that muscle, going and going, but also it helps in terms of the pivot and but I am worthy, but no, wait a minute, even though this happened, it doesn't have to define me. Like you took something, you know what I mean? And I think that's hugely important. And also you took that leap of faith, which by the way, especially now, I also think is hugely important. Would you agree? Like so many people just stay in their comfort zones and so many people are just like, well, this is the way it's supposed to be kind of a thing and never made changes. And I really think part of the good that came out of this whole pandemic is that maybe people realize maybe I should sort of take that leap of faith or should do something different.
Exactly. Yeah, I see a couple of threads here in this conversation, and I just want to get back because you were asking about if I had a mentor in Moldova, and I'm thinking, this is so sad, but we have such a poor education system, and I apologize to say that, but the thing is that it's based on reproduction. Okay, so here, let me chew it, give it to you, give me exactly back the same thing, right? So it didn't allow to develop any creativity, it didn't allow me to even express my opinion. What does it mean to express your opinion? Back in the days when I was a child, it was disrespectful to have an opinion because only one person who had authority over you could have an opinion, right? And you just had to respect it, and you didn't have the chance to express your opinion. So I remember when I started working at the bank back in 2013, and we were sitting at the round table, and the boss, and he was an absolutely unbelievable, great boss, I used to have. And he said, "Oh, what is your opinion on that? And what is your opinion?" And I was sitting there like this, and I'm like, "Why is he asking me that? I don't have an opinion." Like I don't know what is to have an opinion, right? And this is so sad, but this is exactly what I believed. And this is when I was trying to find a mentor, and we discussed this with Belinda. I thought I had to have everything figured out. Right. Like what is my purpose? What are my goals? Including self-confidence. I thought this is something like a must. This is an attribute, a prerequisite. And then I realized, oh no. By taking that leap of faith, as your lady is saying, this is being in action actually builds us confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
So there were among a few breakthroughs I started having when we started having those sessions with Linda.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Irina. You know what? There's a lot of triggers, right, from childhood. We all have that. It's our family, whatever, education system, right? And then when we learn and unlearn when we grow up, thankfully some of us can, right? I think it's amazing what you just said. So, yeah.
This is exactly what I was going with that. I had to tweak, redefine my whole set of beliefs and values,
right?
Just because some of them no longer serve me here in the country I live in, right? So like if I think that nobody should have an opinion, maybe I should move back, right? Because here in Canada, we live in a democratic society, right? So when we respect everybody's opinion, and so that's exactly.
There's more than one way to think of it. Yeah.
But the thing is, what I love most is that everything that you knew, you kind of took that leap of faith when you left. So that was, you know what I mean? And like you instinctively, because one of the things also was like you stopped listening to your intuition, but you started to listen to that again. So that's how you felt. Like it was like you were led to the Brian Wish community. You know what I'm saying? Like you were starting to take those steps.
I did.
I think that also happened because there was a desire, no? You
Right.
even left your country because there was a desire. It's so easy to get numbed with all the things that are happening, like no opinion, sit down, and you just lose it, right? When the desire is still alive in you, that gives you that courage to, take that leap of faith and to then follow your wish and then see what amazing results come out of it. So I think fear doesn't serve us, and we know that as a concept. But when we put it into action and take some steps towards getting rid of all of our limiting beliefs, right? And then taking the action, like they say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Like I think that's what you did, right? And that is so that showed you a wonderful path of a new way of living altogether. And I think it is so amazing that now it's a victory story where not only are you living that life, but you're helping others also, wanting to live that life. So that's just fantastic, And I think that about mentorship, the other thing is we don't know how many times I believe, because I do have a similar background as you, Irina, that I came from a foreign country. I'm living in a foreign country, I mean to say, and that's not my foreign country.
You're foreign to us.
I know, right? So
Just joking.
So I can understand the journey. I can understand the reasons of how difficult it was, right? So I do think that in hindsight now, all the negative. I don't want to say negative people, but people that had different beliefs than me, or people that hold smaller beliefs, those people have also helped me advance in some way or the other. And I feel like gratitude towards them, because if not for their behavior, I wouldn't have taken that leap, So I feel like it's just a matter of gratitude now in hindsight. At that point, it was all too much. They became the catalyst for us to leave and do big things in life. So they were also mentors in a different way, and then we meet people like Linda who are mentors in a totally different way, and that helps us. So I'm going to shamelessly plug my book, which is called Blossom into Your Unique Self. That's what blossoming is all about. You can only blossom when you are in a safe environment, when you feel. So there is fear, then there is courage. But then there is blossoming, and that is when you just be yourself and you give, which is what you're doing. So it's just so beautiful to see that. So one more round of applause for Linda and Irina both, and the wonderful team that you have.
I just want to say one thing also, just to give Linda a little bit of credit here too, because I know Linda quite a while.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why, I think, Linda, you would have been a great mentor no matter what. But I think because of your own transformation, it made you even better. You know what I mean? Like I know, because I know you and I have talked years ago about all the things that you were doing, and you were great then. But because you kind of went through your own blossoming and your own metamorphosis, that absolutely gave you more ammo, if you will, to help others.
It definitely did. More my toolkit, more things that I went through that I could relate to someone.
Yep, 1,000%.
And I saw the need; it was huge. The world has a lot of need, and when you can see it, and then you can do something with it, that's where that blossoming happens. And when blossoms open, and people, find out who they are and what they're capable of, and then they continue on their journey, and then they find other people and do the same. That is just a beautiful way to make a garden, I guess, if you wanted to metaphorically put it.
I absolutely love that. Oh yes, 100%. And that's you become unstoppable when you have the need to give, and then that's it. That's really what keeps you going. Then that becomes your fuel. And so that's wonderful. And I have to say, you made a fabulous choice in Linda Irina, because she's one of the oldest friends I have on LinkedIn, and I'm so proud to be doing
Linda?
with her. Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
One of the very first, if not the very first, but one of the very first people I know on LinkedIn is Linda. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for her friendship and for us to be here today.
And you know what? I was just thinking about it. What if Linda had all this? She has all this, right? But she would keep it to herself,
Oh yeah.
right?
Well, my shirt is evidence that I'm not going to keep it to myself.
Right.
It's funny you talk about what I exemplify, and so my shirt, you can't see it all the way, but it says teacher, but then it talks about how I am unstoppable, totally unstoppable.
That's what I was trying to read. Okay.
Yes, and so yes, that is a theme, and it was given to me actually by another woman that I've been working with and mentoring, and she's been growing by leaps and bounds. She's been blossoming as well, and it's just there's nothing to gain in keeping all the knowledge to yourself. If you learn something, you should pass it on. If somebody helped you, you should help somebody else. And so I've always looked at life that way. There's people that were helping me in my journey. There was people out there that got me unstuck when I needed to be redirected. There are people that gave me opportunities so I could grow and shine. And so for me, it's the choice to do that. I can't think of any other way than to spend my life doing that. And so it's a huge part of who I am. And I get really excited when I have someone that's very coachable like Irina to be able to put something out there, and she just went out and did it, and then she did it and then some, and just like I just remember the day where she said, no, I'm just gonna go interview for this job, probably won't get it, and then about the end of the week she's like, I got the job and I'm gonna go on in it. I'm like, it was just supposed to be let's see what happens. Well, she didn't do let's see what happens, she just made it happen. And so watching her do that, and then really moving forward in the whole wanting to be a mentor, and actually going and presenting why she would want to be a mentor, what she would hope to accomplish in that program, and pitching that, and then doing that long wait that we all do when we pitch something, we wait for it to come back, and it did. And I had there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to take that presentation that you gave them and say yes. I couldn't imagine you showing up with all the passion and excitement that was in your body. and I knew that you were going to confidently deliver it. And yeah, you were nervous, but we're all nervous when we're going to go present an idea to a group. But you had all the right reasons of why you wanted to do it and why it was so important. So that would have been conveyed no matter how polished it was. Your passion would have been at the table. And passion is what people grab onto, and it's passion what people learn to trust and want more of. And so anything that you lack in the skill or development area, it's going to come, and people realize that. Like, if you have the passion, the ability to learn will come.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yeah. Wonderful. What a brilliant conversation. Thank you guys for having this raw, candid talk around mentorship, because it is such an important part of our life. And what a beautiful example we have here in Linda and Irina. And this has been a very insightful conversation. Thank you very much for coming today, Irina, and sharing your story. It's very helpful and very inspiring.
Thank you so much, Irina.
Thank you, ladies. That was great. Oh, this was really great. It really put a smile on my face. Awesome stuff.
Absolutely. And if I can take just 2 minutes, for those who are watching us, we have a new book coming up, and I would like Falguni to take 2 minutes of our time and just tell us about Blossom.
Thank you. It's a matter of pride, and it's like delivering a baby. My first book. It's called Blossom into Your Unique Self: The Power of Creating Holistic Wealth. And it truly just came. It's a soul book. It came from my soul. It is the messages that I had. I realized that at one point, when you feel too full, you have to just share, and that is the point that I was in life, and I wanted to, just share all the experiences that I have had and all the processing of those experiences that I have done to come to where I am today, and then to share and just share my story. with people. I have never shared a personal story, so this was my chance to share that. And then also, the learnings that I have had from that, and the holistic wealth that I have experienced from not just experiencing things, but also then giving it back to the society. So it's been a complete circle for me, and it's a matter of pride to just share that book, and I'm so happy.
I'm so proud of you.
Yes, thank you. I wish for you guys to check it out. I really would love to hear what you guys think about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Irina, for being here. We learned a lot, honestly, and we wish you all the very best in the future. Yeah.
And fill us in on all the good goings on in a few months. We're going to revisit everything. I'd love to revisit everything and see how everything is going with your mentor, with your mentees, and all that stuff.
Absolutely, sure. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks, lady.
Thank you.
Night.
Wonderful.
Night.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Raw Talk, where real authentic women invite other fearless women in to have candid conversation. Do you like what you've heard? Then we want you to like and subscribe for more content. We'll see you next time.